Hey guys, we're going to tell you the story of Quigley's Castle coming up in the video. It's going to be the Cliff Notes version so that we can get right to it. This house is about 4 miles south of Eureka Springs, Arkansas. It's the dream home of Elise Quigley. You know, it all started when she dreamt up this home that she wanted to live in. Elise loved nature. She loved the outdoors. And as a little girl, she started collecting rocks at 9 years old. Rocks, arrowheads, seashells, everything she would find walking along the creek on her way to school. So she kept all this stuff, and then when she married Albert Quigley, he gathered up all her collection and they moved up there. And they lived in a 5-room home. It was just a 5-room house they lived in. It wasn't anything special. They had 5 children. But as I said, Elise had dreamt up this home she wanted to live in. She wanted to live in a home that brought, nature into her. She wanted to live in the world. She didn't want to live in a box. So at this time, World War II was going on and building supplies were rationed, and especially glass. And Elise's idea, for this home included 28 windows, huge windows. These are big windows. And so Albert kept putting it off, thinking, well, we can't build it because we can't get the materials. And on one June morning in 1943, Albert went to work at the sawmill, and Elise gathered up the children and said, we're tearing down the house. That was going to be her way of forcing Albert to build her home. So sure enough, her and the kids tore down the house. Albert comes home that evening to the house leveled, and everything has been moved into the chicken house. So that's where they have to live until they get this house built. So of course Albert says, well, I guess we're building this house. So they start, and as I said, the building supplies were rationed because of the war. So they used timber off of their land for the lumber, and they started building this house slowly over 3 years. And he built scaffolding for her to use her rock collection that she had gathered all these years. And these rocks are all over everything in this house. So she built this. She did a lot of the work herself on this. She fixed it the way she wanted it. And the huge openings where the windows would be, during the winter, they would have to layer flour sacks to keep the cold out. But after a few years, they were finally able to finish the house, and she got what she wanted. And there's a section, one of the coolest things I thought about the house was she wanted where the exterior wall is and where the floor space is on the inside, there's an area between the exterior and that floor space, 4 feet of bare earth, where she could plant all of her tropical plants and everything inside the house behind those huge windows. And it's a 2-story house, and these plants have grown all the way to the ceiling. And some of these plants in this house are over 70 years old. And it's really cool. The outside of the house, she decorated the outside of the house the same way, using all of the rocks, seashells, marbles, arrowheads, everything she collected. And they did all this work themselves. It's really a neat little house.
It is. And when you were talking about the earth thing just now, I just thought, I wonder if they had things dig up like gophers or moles that would come up through the dirt, or if things dug up through the dirt. Something would have to.
I would think so. I didn't think about that, but it's possible.
Yeah, I just saw that when you were talking about that. Yeah, it's a neat house, and you can see when you walk up, there's these squares. And she had a template, and she would put her rocks in a specific order that day, whatever she felt like. She'd put it in that order and make a little block. So when you walk up to the house, you see all these squares and rectangles, and you can see like with the scaffolding where she would stack it up. The front of the house was all done like that. It's really neat.
Yeah, and the inside of the house, they had parakeets they would let fly around. She had an aquarium. The house is full of antique stuff that they actually owned. It's a very unique stop. You know, it's worth it just to check it out. So we hope you enjoy the video. Are we done?
I think we're done.
We're done.
We're done.
Let's get going.
Get her done. It's pretty.
Yeah, I like it. Sun coming through. It's my favorite time of the day, really.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Kind of a weird stop sign.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird little town.
Turn left onto Madison 2605.
It's kind of neat. Huh?
You going the wrong way?
Yeah. I need to turn around. Sometimes that happens when you're on a road trip.
Yeah, there's definitely one down there. To the flag!
Proceed to the route.
I was just distracted by this neat little town, I guess.
Kind of like a little city square.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
I wonder how old these buildings are.
Proceed to the route. Turn right.
Here we are. All right.
In 7.2 miles, Turn left onto US 412.
Okay. Stop telling me what to do.
Me or her?
Both of them.
Especially wherever they like to sit. Yeah. And then these, you just the little decorations, right? Yeah. So my mother. She's one of the paternal great grandmothers. My grandfather was her middle son.
Did you find a nice spot to lay down? Yeah.
How many cats did she say there was?
She said there's 5 that are hers.
Hers.
So I don't know if that means there's more or if there's just 5 and they're all hers. It's very unique. I don't know that I would call it pretty, but it is interesting and unique, very unique.
Well, the architecture's from that time, that type of, what do you call it?
Meemaw?
Yeah, the Meemaw.
Like the Meemaw
Meemaw
yard?
Yes, that's
Okay. It's the Meemaw style.
I'm always back in bed. That's the house she tore down.
So that's the house that her and the 5 kids tore down while Albert was at work.
And then they lived in a chicken pen, chicken shack.
Yeah, a chicken house to force him to build the house she wanted. And there's Albert. And there she is, rocking the house. The scaffolding that he had built for her to rock the house. There she is, Elise.
It says here that the when they came home or Albert came home, he was more mad that they didn't turn off the power because there were live wires sitting out than he was with them tearing down the house. They didn't know how to turn off the power, so they had live wires. So he was more mad about the live wires than the tearing down of the house.
I guess she didn't care about that. She just wanted her new house, so she had her mindset on tearing it down. It didn't matter. The house was coming down so that this house could be built.
Oh my gosh, I had those. Grandma had those encyclopedias. I remember as a kid, I would sit and I would look through those pictures in that encyclopedia. I think she had that chair too. Again, a Meemaw house. Aquarium. She would have aquariums. And it says that she would let canaries fly around the house and get into the trees and the plants. That's crazy.
Okay. Wow. Look at this wall.
Oh wow. Look at all the butterflies.
So all of these rocks are rocks that she's collected, and she did all of this herself. Interesting. You got arrowheads, various tools. I imagine they found while digging. So that's what she's saying. They left about 4 feet of earth from the outer wall all the way to the floor so that she could grow her plants naturally.
Some of these are over 70 years old.
Yes. It goes all the way up to the second floor.
It was saying in there on the wall where those moths were that she actually like bred those moths, and like when they died she put them up there, and it took her like years to make that wall.
Wow, I'd imagine so.
I was wondering where
It
she
was-
got the moths, but
It's interesting.
I was thinking it's kind of weird to have all those moths. Like, you don't really see those out there. But it said that she bred them. So, interesting.
Huh. Well, she sure did love her rocks. Everything is built with rocks or stone. It's kind of a quirky little place, really.
You can see stuff like she's got quartz. She's got glass.
She's... These are interesting little things, little setups for like picnicking. Little table out here. Birdhouse. She's even done seashells.
There's a sign in there saying that this wood stove heats the house, but it's also their water pump. And they have a pump that will pump water in, and it will heat it from this wood stove and then pump it through the house.
Huh.
So they don't have a water
It's like
heater,
it's a water heater.
but it's
Okay.
it's heated by the stove. And so she
Interesting.
says, like in the thing, it said it saved them on their electric bill because of them using the wood stove to heat the house and heat the water.
Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
it is.
All you need now are a bunch of little glass or wooden gnomes.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see this.
Oh, look at this. These old marbles. See all those old marbles? Wonder how old those are.
No.
Wonder if she had any like
She,
rhyme or reason putting these rocks the way she did. Oh, look at that one right there. It's like a fossilized stone, kind of. Huh.
very interesting. Oh my goodness. Are you angling for a rubbin?